Yeah, everyone who was born in the 90s is dead now. Like, they didn't have stuff like this, like the street sign stuff.
You said street signs?
Yeah, they didn't have that, definitely.
Were there more horses in the 1990s?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. If you're 30, you're old.
So many crazy things have happened throughout the history of the world. There have been dinosaurs, pirates, ancient Egypt, colonial Williamsburg, and I want to know more about all of it. That's right, folks. Today we're talking to kids about history. Let's do it. What is history?
Like, the pyramids, George Washington being our first president, the Sphinx.
The Sphinx?
Yes.
What's that?
It's a big pyramid, half cat, half man. Or maybe half dog, half man. I don't really know.
Why is the Sphinx important?
It might hold special treasures in it.
What treasure do you think is in the Sphinx?
I think there's gold in a mummy coffin. Or maybe the king mummy.
King Mummy, wow, that's intense.
Yeah.
What do you think the best thing to ever happen in the past has been?
Mostly like losing my first bottom tooth ever. This was the best moment in history.
I have all my big boy adult teeth.
Cool.
So what does history mean?
Past?
Yeah, what about the past?
Like special things, I think. There being the first president and tooth losing.
Say them again?
The first president in the universe of presidents and losing tooths.
Let's talk about presidents of the universe. What's that mean, and who is the first president of the universe?
It's obvious. It's George Washington. He's the first president of the universe.
Of the entire universe?
I don't think of most in like alien places. George Washington is never president of aliens.
Who's the president of the aliens?
I don't know, but I think it's the Captain Alien that wears the Captain Alien suit.
Zippy Papingabog?
Who's that?
Zippy Papingabog is the captain of the aliens.
Really? Zippy Kingabob?
Zippy Papingabog is the president and captain of all the aliens, and they don't teach you that in school. Read.
Zippy Kabingabob is the captain of aliens.
What's your favorite moment in history?
My favorite's kind of like Ruby Bridges because in my school there's an event happening about Ruby Bridges.
So do you think history is important?
Of course it is important.
What do you think it's going to be like in 100 years?
It might get really better. Like maybe any of us can make history. Any of us can make the world an even better place. Like stop pollution, make a cure for cancer. You can make history if you're big, small, or medium.
Even if you're medium, you can make history.
Yeah.
What do you think about history?
When you die?
Oh, like your history?
Yeah. It's like dinosaurs in history.
If you could go back in time, what would you do?
Play with dinosaurs.
Yeah, what's your favorite dinosaur?
T-Rex, because they're meat dinosaurs.
I'm an herbivore right now.
Me too.
When was the last time you had some carn?
Like a week ago.
Is there anything else you want to say about history?
Pterodactyls can fly like 10 times high up in the feet of the sky.
Do you think we need pterodactyls nowadays?
No,
Why?
because we don't need to fly anywhere because we have airplanes.
Oh, so they've been rendered obsolete.
Yeah,
Could you make a pterodactyl sound?
I don't know how to.
What do you think about history?
They were more dumb than us, but they found out ways to survive.
They were more dumb?
Yeah.
If you could go back in time, what would you do?
I would probably explore the times when knights were around and it was like the Middle Ages, so I could tell my friend Sam what was it like.
So you'd go all the way back in time just to tell Sam what it was like?
Yeah.
That's very kind that you'd go back in time on behalf of a friend.
Mm-hmm.
What's ancient mean?
Ancient means like special artifacts, like the pyramid style I was talking about, and the Sphinx.
Tell me like a secret history.
1 second. There's a Scooby-Doo movie that's about ancient Egypt. Bet you didn't know that.
I didn't. That's pretty crazy. That kind of changes my whole perception of the world, to be honest with you. Can I tell you something from history that no one knows?
What?
in like 2003, there was like 3 months where New York City was run by a bear.
A bear?
Yeah, a bear walked out of the woods and no one was in the mayoral office and the bear just became in charge of New York City.
That's very weird.
And the like weird part was is he was a better mayor than any other New York mayor.
Because how can bears, like, read and write? Because they're not going to schools.
No, this bear went to Cornell.
I don't know how a bear could be a mayor.
Do you believe me? Mm-hmm. Good. Let's move on. That's true, in fact. What do you think the 1990s were like?
They didn't have many cars or anything. They had to like walk to school, and they didn't have really advanced TVs and stuff. Like they didn't have stuff like this, like the street sign stuff.
You said street signs?
Yeah, they didn't have that, definitely. 1990s were like the Middle Ages, except not like sword stuff.
Were there more horses in the 1990s?
Yeah, definitely.
So how long ago was the 1990s?
I don't know, a bunch of years ago.
Yeah, 30 years ago.
Wow, 30 years ago? That's a lot. If you're 30, you're old.
Once I got my final adult tooth, I was allowed to do anything I wanted.
Whoa, cool. Well, still since I lost my first tooth in history, my mom and dad still don't let me do whatever I want.
Yeah, you have to get them all in, and then you're allowed to, like, ride flying motorcycles and, like, go with giant squids. What?
Flying motorcycles?
Yeah, I do that a lot.
What?
Yeah, all the time. It's when you get your teeth.
Well, in the world can you find a flying motorcycle besides Hogwarts?
Hogwarts is where I got mine.
What? Harry Potter is a really important part of history because he is a wizard and his parents died from the dark wizard Lord Voldemort.
You can't say his name.
Okay, his name is Voldemort.
What did I just say?
Name Voldemort.
Ah! What do you think about history?
I like it. It's cool.
So what is history?
Bad stuff, good stuff, cool stuff, not so cool stuff.
What's the coolest thing that ever happened in history?
Learning about Alexander Hamilton.
Have you seen the musical?
Yes, but I haven't seen the part where Burr kills him.
Yeah, that's pretty not appropriate.
Well, I mean, I don't want to see it because I don't really like death and blood and stuff.
Yeah, who does?
Well, the history of the world is pretty much about the Big Bang and what's happened good and what's happened bad.
Big Bang, then kind of nothing for a while, like a week or two. Like 3 weeks in, there started being like creatures, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it happened. Well, I mean, dinosaurs pretty much evolved into chickens and stuff.
And chickens evolved into me?
Some of the chickens and birds evolved into monkeys, which then the monkeys became different every time, and then they became a human.
Whoa, I did not learn that way, but that's amazing.
I learned it from a film at the Natural History Museum.
Is that why I got like feathers on my back?
I don't know.
Maybe that's something else. I should probably check that out.
Okay.
What do you know about history?
That seems that already happened a long time ago. Well, one time I jumped on a big stuffy pile. That's history.
Like crazy stuff, right?
Going in my country house's lake. That's history. One time I put on makeup on my dad. That's history.
How old do you think I am?
30-something? I don't know. 40? No clue.
If you had to guess, what age? Like definitely.
52.
You think I'm 52?
Mm-hmm.
Actually.
Yeah.
You're right. Well, let me ask you something. What do you think the 1980s were like?
They were like the Stone Ages. It wasn't like cavemen. Kind of the evolution of cavemen a little bit. Yeah.
In the 1980s?
Yeah. Cavemen were just so dumb, and they had to use like rocks and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, 40 years ago.
Wow, that's old.
Yeah.
Really old. That's older than 30.
Yeah, and I'm 52, and let me tell you, when I was a kid, they had dinosaurs.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Do you think people from 1990 are still alive?
Definitely dead.
How old do you think people from 1990 are?
I think they would be 285, 8,029, 88, 2080, 28.
What do you think 2005 was like?
Very old people had, walking sticks. They could have even died.
What year is it right now?
I don't know.
Any guess?
2088?
Yeah, it's 2088 right now. It's
100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800.
Do you remember like what happened when you were a baby?
Yeah, and I was a baby too.
I was a baby too. That's history.
Yeah, my mommy was a baby.
We've all been babies at some point or another, right?
Talking about mysteries.
History is mystery?
Yeah, and it's spooky. There was a lot of spider webs. 77, 88, 99 years old.
That's pretty old. What do you think 2002 was like?
That was crazy. I don't know.
You know 2002 wasn't that different than right now.
Really?
Are you actually surprised?
Yeah, I don't know time like that.
Well, this has been so wonderful. Anything else you want to say about history before we go?
It was old back then, really old. Yeah, everyone who was born in the 90s is dead now.
The 1990s was really not that long ago. It was almost exactly the same. It was like right before the iPhone started.
What?
History is a mystery.
What do you think the 1990s were like?
Early 1990s, then very hard because that's when the Great Depression hit.
Yeah, that was right before the Roaring 80s, right? Or right after the Roaring 80s.
Yep.
You want to know why they called it the Roaring 20s?
Why?
You might not know this, but so many lions got out.
What?
Yeah, there were just lions everywhere. It was really dangerous.
I don't know if you know this, but there's something called logic.
Sorry, what?
Logic. Logic.
Dinosaurs.
They were important in history? Why? What'd they do?
Because they teach cavemen a lesson to be nice to the world. Thank you, dinosaurs. You're so kind.
Gosh, I had another question. What was it? Well, you got any questions for me while I think about it? About history? Anything you want to know?
How do you like New York City?
Oh, it's pretty nice. It's good this time of year. All right, I remember my question. How old do you think I am?
36.
36?
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm 22, but like, I guess I just look old for my age.
Okay.
Are you like 40?
No, I'm 8.
Oh, you're 80.
8.
E.
Yes, I'm 8 years old.
Yeah, 80 years old. Before you go, is there anything else you want to say about history?
That's pretty much all I have.
Good time. High five. That was wonderful. Thank you.